The Galactic Council mocked Earth's request until humanity took a stand HFY. The Galactic Council chamber was massive, stretching far beyond what any human could imagine. The walls shimmered with colors that seemed alive, changing with every movement of the beings within. Hundreds of delegates from countless species filled the room, each unique in appearance. Some floated in the air, their forms translucent and glowing. Others moved on multiple legs, antennae twitching in constant observation. Their voices, though alien, carried authority and intelligence. At the center of the chamber, a small platform had been prepared for the delegation from Earth. Humans had traveled across the stars for the first time, their faces filled with hope and determination. Ambassador Lyra Kane, a tall woman with dark hair tied neatly behind her head, stood at the forefront. Beside her were her aides and advisors, all wearing the formal blue uniforms of the Earth Interstellar Mission. Their equipment was modest compared to the advanced technology of the Council. The moment the Earth delegation appeared, a wave of whispers and laughter rippled through the chamber. One of the silver-skinned delegates, whose skin sparkled like starlight, tilted its head and let out a soft, melodic chuckle. "Did they really send these beings?" it said, its voice carrying a musical tone that resonated through the hall. Another delegate, resembling a large crystalline spider, clicked its mandibles in amusement. "They look so fragile. Can they even survive the journey here?" Lyra Kane took a deep breath, steadying herself. She had expected skepticism, but the open mockery was harsher than she imagined. She stepped onto the platform and addressed the council. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice clear and steady, "I represent the people of Earth. We come not as conquerors, but as learners. We seek membership in this council because we wish to contribute to the galaxy's peace, knowledge, and cooperation." A ripple of laughter passed through the delegates. A large, tentacled being leaned forward, its multiple eyes blinking in unison. "Peace," it said, its voice rough and vibrating. "Your planet is full of chaos, wars, famine, environmental collapse, and yet you believe you can join us." Lyra did not flinch. "Our world faces challenges, yes," she replied. "But it is precisely because of these challenges that we have learned resilience, creativity, and innovation. We do not come to ask for permission. We come to show that humanity can be a force for progress." Several delegates murmured to one another. A few even rolled their eyes. To them, humans were primitive, fragile, and untested in the vastness of space. Yet there was something in Lyra's tone, calm, confident, and unwavering, that caused a few to pause. The debate continued. Other species brought forward charts, historical data, and technological comparisons, each attempting to illustrate humanity's supposed inadequacy. One delegate, a being made entirely of shifting energy, presented images of Earth's environmental disasters. "How can you hope to manage interstellar responsibilities when your own planet struggles to survive?" it asked. Lyra Kane nodded respectfully, then responded with conviction. "We acknowledge our problems, but we also acknowledge our achievements. Humanity has sent ships beyond our solar system, created technologies that once seemed impossible, and worked together in times of crisis. We may not be the most advanced species in the galaxy, but we possess something that cannot be measured by charts alone: determination, adaptability, and the ability to learn from failure." The chamber fell silent. For a brief moment, even the most condescending delegates paused. They were used to seeing prideful speeches, but rarely had they heard one so calm yet firm. Then, a sharp, metallic voice rang out. "Determination. You call it determination, I call it recklessness," said a tall, armored being with a voice like grinding metal. Its eyes glowed red as it studied Lyra. "The galaxy does not need reckless creatures. We need order, stability, and reliability. Humans are too unpredictable." Lyra did not hesitate. "Order and stability are important," she said. "But so is the courage to take risks for the greater good." History has shown that the greatest achievements come not from avoiding danger, but from facing it head-on. Humanity is not perfect, but we are willing to grow, to learn, and to contribute. That is why we stand here today. Murmurs filled the chamber. Some delegates exchanged doubtful glances. Others shook their heads in disbelief. A few, however, seemed intrigued. The council's leader, a being whose form resembled a shifting mass of golden light, rose from its seat. Its voice resonated with authority. Humanity's request has been noted, it said. But the council cannot ignore the facts. Your species is young, untested, and primitive. We cannot allow such unpredictability into our ranks without proof of your worthiness. Lyra nodded, understanding the challenge. We expected no less, she replied. We are prepared to prove ourselves in whatever way the council sees fit. We only ask for the chance to show our value. The golden light flickered thoughtfully. Very well, we shall consider your request, it said, but do not mistake consideration for approval. The council will require significant demonstration of your capabilities before we may accept your species. Until then, your petition remains provisional. With that, the session ended. The humans were escorted out of the chamber, their heads held high despite the clear dismissal. Outside, the vast viewports of the council building revealed countless stars, planets, and fleets of ships from across the galaxy. Earth's delegation looked out, absorbing the enormity of the universe and the enormity of the challenge they faced. Back on Earth, the reaction to the council's dismissal was mixed. Some citizens were disappointed, feeling the sting of rejection. Others were inspired. Scientists, engineers, and military leaders saw an opportunity, not just to join the council, but to demonstrate the true strength of humanity. Dr. Amir Patel, a leading aerospace engineer, gathered his team in a bustling laboratory filled with spacecraft models and simulation holograms. They think we're weak, he said, pacing in front of the group. They think our technology and our people are primitive. They've underestimated us, and that is exactly why we will succeed. Meanwhile, military strategist Commander Alina Ross prepared plans for potential interstellar missions. We may not have their fleets or their advanced weaponry, she said, but we have something they do not, our adaptability. Humans can think on their feet, improvise, and overcome obstacles that might stop a more advanced species in its tracks. We'll prove them wrong, one mission at a time. Even politicians, who often debated bureaucracy and diplomacy, recognized the moment for unity. Funding for space exploration, once limited, was increased. Young engineers, pilots, and scientists from across the globe volunteered for missions that would test human ingenuity in the stars. Humanity was mobilizing, not in anger but in determination. Months passed, and the preparations continued. Spacecraft were redesigned to endure longer voyages, with engines modified for efficiency and safety. AI systems were integrated, but with human oversight to ensure adaptability. Training programs pushed human participants to their limits, testing both mental and physical resilience. Despite the enormity of the task, hope grew. People began to believe that Earth, the so-called primitive planet, could one day stand shoulder to shoulder with the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. And somewhere deep in the council chambers, a few delegates who had once mocked humanity began to reconsider. Perhaps these humans were not as fragile or unworthy as they had assumed. There was something in their determination, their courage, and their willingness to face ridicule with dignity that was unusual. It was the beginning of a journey that would challenge the galaxy's assumptions and ultimately prove that humanity was not just another species. They were survivors, innovators, and pioneers, and they were about to show the universe exactly what that meant. As the stars shone outside the council building, Lyra Kane looked toward the horizon. She knew the path ahead would be dangerous, uncertain, and full of challenges. But humanity had one advantage that no other species could match. the unyielding spirit to rise no matter the odds. And so, Earth's delegation returned home, not defeated but determined. They had been mocked, dismissed, and underestimated. But in every human heart burned a resolve that would soon change the galaxy's perception forever. The galaxy was vast and silent, a place where even the smallest mistake could mean disaster. And yet, humanity had begun to stretch its reach into the stars, determined to prove that it was more than just a primitive planet. The dismissal by the Galactic Council had sparked a new fire on Earth. Scientists, engineers, and explorers now worked together with a single goal: to demonstrate that humans could do what no one expected. The opportunity came sooner than anyone anticipated. A distress signal echoed through the Council's communications channels. A colony ship, traveling far beyond the outer rim, had suffered a catastrophic warp engine failure. Hundreds of lives were in danger, trapped in a system too far for most of the Council fleets to reach quickly. Earth's leaders did not hesitate. While many Council members debated who should respond, humanity acted. Ambassador Lyra Kane stood before the Earth Space Command team, her calm presence commanding attention. "This is our chance," she said. "The galaxy doubts us. They mock us. And now, here is an opportunity to show them what humanity is capable of. We will take this mission, not for recognition, but because it is the right thing to do." The plan was risky. The colony ship was deep in a dense asteroid field near a dying star. Navigating the debris while maintaining warp stability was a challenge even the most advanced Council fleets would hesitate to attempt. But humans thrived in risk. Pilots, engineers, and scientists pooled their knowledge, improvising solutions on the fly. Commander Elena Ross oversaw the mission's preparation. "We have outdated ships compared to Council fleets," she said, walking among the engineers. "But we have adaptability, imagination, and teamwork. Every human aboard these vessels knows that we cannot fail. Failure is not an option, not this time." The fleet of human ships launched, small but determined. Their engines hummed with a mixture of old and newly developed technology. The Council, watching from afar, initially scoffed. "Primitive engines, small crews, they will never reach the colony ship in time," one delegate remarked, its voice dripping with amusement. But the humans did not falter. They navigated the treacherous asteroid field with precise coordination, each pilot relying not just on sensors, but on instincts honed through years of rigorous training. When a massive rock suddenly shifted into their path, human ingenuity turned potential disaster into opportunity. Using a combination of carefully calculated thrusts and magnetic field adjustments, the ships redirected the asteroid harmlessly away, barely brushing its surface. Inside the command ship, Lyra watched the progress, her hands resting lightly on the control panel. She knew that every decision mattered. "Steady," she murmured to herself, though her voice carried to the pilots through their communication channels. "Trust your training. Trust each other. Humanity does not break under pressure." Finally, they reached the disabled colony ship. Its hull was cracked in several places, and the warp core was unstable. The humans faced a dilemma: how to stabilize the ship and evacuate the passengers without triggering a catastrophic explosion. Dr. Amir Patel, the lead engineer, stepped forward. "We'll need to improvise," he said, pointing to the damaged core. "We can use our energy redirection arrays to temporarily stabilize the warp field, but it will require precise timing. One mistake, and the entire ship could implode." The pilots and engineers worked in perfect synchronization, guided by human intuition and quick thinking. While Council species relied heavily on pre-programmed calculations, humans adapted in real time. When a minor misalignment threatened the stabilization process, an engineer on the control deck suggested an untested method of energy modulation. Within moments, the solution worked, stabilizing the colony ship's warp core just enough to allow evacuation. As the humans began transporting passengers, council representatives watched in disbelief. They actually did it, whispered a crystalline delegate. Their technology is inferior, yet they are saving lives we thought were lost. The evacuation was tense. Small shuttle crafts carried passengers from the crippled ship to safety, navigating through a field of floating debris. Human pilots communicated with calm authority, adjusting routes and thrusts as asteroids shifted unpredictably. They demonstrated not only courage but an ability to improvise in the face of danger. By the time the last passenger was safely aboard the human fleet, the once dismissive council members were stunned. No species had ever attempted such a dangerous rescue with such success. Humans, with their modest ships and limited resources, had achieved what the galaxy's elite had assumed impossible. The human fleet returned to Earth, carrying the rescued colonists and a newfound sense of pride. On Earth, the news spread like wildfire. People celebrated not just the lives saved, but the proof that humanity could rise to challenges beyond imagination. But the story did not end there. The council, still observing, began to take note. Delegates who had once mocked the humans now whispered among themselves, reconsidering their earlier assumptions. "Perhaps we misjudged them," one said quietly. "They are reckless, yes, but their determination, it is unlike anything we have seen." Lyra Kane knew that this was only the beginning. The rescue mission had proven one thing: humans could act decisively, adapt quickly, and achieve the impossible. But she also understood that the Council would continue to test them. Future challenges would be even greater, requiring not just courage, but creativity and resilience on a scale the galaxy had never seen. The human team held a debriefing after returning to Earth. Commander Ross addressed the crew, her voice filled with pride. "You have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of," she said. "Not because we are perfect, not because we have the best technology, but because we refuse to give up. Today, we have taken the first step toward proving that Earth belongs among the stars." Dr. Patel added, "What we accomplished was extraordinary, but it is only the beginning. The Council will not grant us membership based on one success. We must continue to innovate, to explore, and to face challenges no one else dares to confront." Even the younger recruits felt the weight of their achievement. Teenagers and young adults who had trained tirelessly for this mission realized that humans were capable of greatness. They had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, and emerged victorious. Their courage, determination, and quick thinking had not only saved lives, but begun to earn the respect of the galaxy. Meanwhile, back in the council chambers, the reaction was mixed. Some delegates still viewed humans as reckless and dangerous, but even they could not deny the results. The humans had risked their lives and succeeded where others would have failed. The very notion of primitive species no longer applied. A golden-lighted delegate, a member of the council's leadership, spoke privately to the others. "We have underestimated humanity," it said. "Their technology may not be the most advanced, but their ingenuity, courage, and adaptability are remarkable. We must reconsider how we evaluate them." News of the mission spread throughout the galaxy. Other species began to recognize the human potential. Some reached out to Earth for cooperation and knowledge exchange. Others observed cautiously, realizing that humans were no longer to be underestimated. Lyra Kane and her team, while proud, remained focused. They knew that the Council's judgment was far from final. "This mission has opened eyes," Lyra told her staff. "But respect is not given lightly. We must continue to demonstrate our worth, not through words but through actions." The victory had more than symbolic importance. It marked a turning point for humanity in the galaxy. No longer were they seen as weak or untested. Now they were capable, brave, and determined. The rescue mission had shown that humans could solve problems in ways that even the galaxy's most advanced species might never attempt. Back on Earth, celebrations filled cities and towns. Children stared at the night sky, imagining themselves among the stars. Scientists and engineers continued to develop new technologies, inspired by the success of the mission. Humans had proven one undeniable truth: when faced with impossible odds, they would find a way. And somewhere among the stars, the Galactic Council watched. The whispers of disbelief and admiration grew louder. Humans, the once mocked species, were beginning to reshape the galaxy's perception. Their journey had only begun, but one fact was clear: humanity was no longer to be dismissed, laughed at, or underestimated. In the quiet of the night, Lyra Kane stood outside the Earth Space Command building, looking up at the sky. "We've begun to show them who we are," she said softly, almost to herself. "But this is only the first step. The galaxy will see soon enough that humanity is not just capable, humanity is unstoppable." And so, Earth's journey continued. The rescue mission was a triumph, a proof of courage and ingenuity. But more importantly, it was a message. Humanity had arrived. The galaxy would never again look at Earth the same way. The galaxy had begun to take notice. After Earth's daring rescue of the stranded colony ship, whispers of humanity's courage and ingenuity spread among the stars. Delegates in the Galactic Council who had once mocked humans now studied them with quiet curiosity. Some were still skeptical, but none could deny the impact of the human mission. Yet, for all their success, Earth's leaders knew that the Council's judgment was far from complete. One event would determine whether humanity had truly earned a place among the galaxy's most respected civilizations. It came without warning. A rogue fleet composed of mercenaries and warships from multiple disbanded systems appeared in the Outer Rim, threatening colonies under the Council's protection. Their attacks were swift and brutal, leaving devastation in their wake. The Council debated responses for weeks, arguing over strategy, responsibility, and resources. Meanwhile, the rogue fleet continued its campaign, unopposed. Earth's leaders, however, could not wait. Humanity had already proven that they could act decisively where others hesitated. Ambassador Lyra Kane addressed Earth Space Command once more. "The Council hesitates, but innocent lives are at risk," she said. "We will not stand by while others suffer. Humanity will act, not for recognition, but because it is our duty." Commander Alina Ross, now a veteran of interstellar operations, prepared the fleet. Ships had been upgraded since the rescue mission: faster engines, improved shields, and advanced AI systems integrated with human oversight. Yet, even with these enhancements, the human fleet was smaller and less powerful than many of the Council's warships. Their strength lay in something else: adaptability, courage, and the ability to innovate under pressure. The humans departed Earth, entering the Outer Rim where the rogue fleet had taken control of a cluster of colonies. As they approached, sensors detected hundreds of enemy vessels, each bristling with weapons far more advanced than any human ship. The task seemed impossible. Many species in the Council had long relied on brute force and overwhelming firepower. Humans relied on ingenuity. The first engagement was intense. Rogue ships fired with precise coordination, testing the human fleet's formations. Missiles streaked across space, and energy beams tore through the vacuum, striking some human ships. But the humans adapted quickly. Pilots employed unconventional maneuvers, using nearby asteroids for cover and exploiting weaknesses in enemy patterns. Engineers on the fly adjusted shield frequencies, absorbing attacks that the enemy thought would destroy them. Dr. Amir Patel, now leading a team of engineers in real-time combat strategy, shouted instructions through the comms. "Shift power to the forward shields. Rotate the hull emitters. Use the asteroid debris as a distraction." His voice carried calm authority, even as explosions rocked the fleet. Lyra Kane observed from the command ship, coordinating communication between squads and adjusting strategies. "Focus on precision strikes, not brute force," she said. "Target their engines, disrupt their coordination, and never lose sight of our main goal: protect the colonies." The humans worked together seamlessly. Unlike many advanced species that relied heavily on automation, humans combined intuition, creativity, and teamwork. When one pilot suggested a risky maneuver, luring enemy ships into a gravitational anomaly near a small star, others immediately understood the plan and executed it flawlessly. The rogue fleet, caught off guard by human unpredictability, began to falter. Despite the chaos, humans never lost sight of their mission. Civilians on the outer colonies were evacuated first, their safety the top priority. Shuttles darted between human and rogue-controlled territories, guided by expert pilots who had trained for years for such scenarios. Every action demonstrated not only courage, but compassion, a quality the Council had often overlooked in judging humanity. As the battle continued, Lyra Kane noticed that the rogue fleet's cohesion was breaking down. Human strategies, while unorthodox, exploited weaknesses that no one else had recognized. Enemy ships collided with each other, energy weapons misfired, and confusion spread throughout the rogue ranks. In a final, decisive move, the humans launched a coordinated strike on the rogue fleet's command vessel. Using a combination of diversionary attacks and precise targeting, the ship's control systems were disrupted, leaving the fleet without coordination. One by one, the remaining rogue ships were neutralized or forced to retreat. The battle was over. The colonies were saved, and the humans had accomplished what even the most advanced species in the Council had hesitated to attempt. Casualties were minimal, thanks to careful planning and the prioritization of life over destruction. Humanity had not only defended the innocent, but had done so with ingenuity and courage that no one could ignore. When the news reached the Galactic Council, the reaction was immediate. Delegates who had once laughed at humans now spoke in hushed tones of admiration. "They are remarkable," said a crystalline delegate, its multiple eyes reflecting light in wonder. "We doubted them, yet they have achieved the impossible." The Council called an emergency session to discuss humanity's membership. The atmosphere was tense. Many species debated fiercely, unwilling to admit that they had misjudged a single planet. Yet the evidence was undeniable. Humans had saved lives, outsmarted a rogue fleet, and demonstrated qualities that no charts, technology comparisons, or historical data could measure. Courage, adaptability, and teamwork. Humans had shown these traits in abundance. Finally, the Council's leader, the golden-lighted being, spoke. Its voice filled the chamber, resonating with authority. "Humanity has proven itself in ways we did not anticipate. They have acted decisively, courageously, and with wisdom beyond their years. The evidence is clear. They are worthy of inclusion in the Galactic Council." Ambassador Lyra Kane stood once more before the Council. "We do not ask for membership out of pride or entitlement," she said. "We ask because humanity is ready to contribute to the galaxy, to uphold peace, and to learn from every civilization. We have proven that we can act when others hesitate. We have shown courage when danger threatened. We are ready." The Council voted unanimously. For the first time, humanity was recognized as a full member of the Interstellar Alliance. Delegates extended greetings and formal invitations, no longer seeing humans as primitive, fragile, or reckless. Humanity had earned its place, not through claims or arguments, but through action, courage, and unwavering determination. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted. Cities and towns across the planet erupted in joy as people watched the news of humanity's acceptance. Children looked up at the stars with new dreams, inspired by the bravery and ingenuity of those who had gone before them. Scientists, engineers, and pilots received accolades, but they also knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown challenges, and humanity's journey had only just begun. Yet, The true victory was not in recognition alone. It was in proving a universal truth, that determination, ingenuity, and courage could overcome even the greatest obstacles. Humans had faced ridicule, doubt, and danger, and they had risen above it all. They had taken the impossible and made it possible. Lyra Kane, standing on the balcony of Earth Space Command, gazed at the stars. "We have earned our place," she said quietly, "but we cannot stop here. Humanity must continue to explore, to learn, and to protect. The galaxy is wide and there is much more to do." Commander Elena Ross joined her, placing a hand on Lyra's shoulder. "We have shown them who we are," she said, "and they will never underestimate us again." In the weeks and months that followed, humanity began active participation in the Council. They shared knowledge, contributed to interstellar missions, and continued to demonstrate the qualities that had earned them respect. Other species began to see Earth not as a primitive world, but as a partner, a problem solver, and a force for good. The lessons of the Rogue Fleet battle remained ingrained in human culture. Courage was celebrated, but so was creativity. Adaptability became a core principle, reminding all that strength was not only measured in weapons or technology, but in the ability to think, innovate, and act decisively when circumstances demanded it. And through it all, the galaxy learned a lesson that no council report or technological comparison could ever teach. Humanity was resilient, capable, and unstoppable. They had turned mockery into respect, doubt into admiration, and a single planet into a recognized power among the stars. As the suns of distant systems shone in the night sky, Earth's citizens looked upward with pride. They knew that their species had faced challenges greater than any other had expected, and had prevailed. The journey of humanity was no longer a story of potential, it was a story of achievement. And somewhere in the council chambers, delegates who had once mocked Earth now spoke openly of the humans' accomplishments, acknowledging a truth they could no longer deny. Humanity had arrived, and they would shape the galaxy's future in ways that no one could foresee, but all would remember. For humanity, the journey was far from over. The stars beckoned, full of mysteries, challenges, and opportunities. But one thing was certain: no matter what lay ahead, humans had proven that courage, ingenuity, and determination were the true measures of a species. And with those qualities, humanity would always rise.